What's going on? Big A, the Mank Geek, coming at you with another video. Sunday, it's time for my pull list, where I tell you what comic books I got this week and what I thought of them as well. So yeah, there's no news or anything like that I want to speak about, so let's just get right into it. Fantastic Four. It's good to have him back, finally. It wasn't like an action-packed issue. To be honest, I did think in Marvel 2-in-1 they were going to like kind of reintroduce like Reed and Sue and the kids. In that, I thought that would be the comic book in which they return, and then this #1 would kind of be the continuation of that. But Marvel 2-in-1, the last issue, I don't believe it's come out yet, or unless I missed it. I don't think it's come out because we've got like one more kind of story to go. I think they've got one issue left and then that's it. I think Marvel 2-in-1 is going to show us how Johnny and Ben get their powers back and then return to 616. But other than that, it doesn't deal with the actual return of the Fantastic Four itself. This first issue of Fantastic Four does. And yeah, it's not really action-packed. There's some stuff that happens. There's some like character stuff that happens as well. But then at the very end, it's not a spoiler, but at the very end, that's when you get kind of like a signal that the Fantastic Four are going to return, and it's a very big signal, and then kind of like everyone's happy at the end. And I think it's a pretty well written issue. Like I said, it's not an action story. It's not kind of like really particularly that exciting. It just lays the foundations for their coming back. It doesn't look like they're going to drag it out. Hopefully they'll be back proper next issue. But yeah, no, it was a pretty good read, and it was well written. Like, even though it didn't have that much kind of like going on in it, it was actually pretty well done. Like the art as well was fine. I was mostly happy with it, and it kind of reminisced about kind of like the kind of stuff the Fantastic Four do. Now with the Fantastic Four back, I don't think the Terrifics can last that longer, because they're only just getting into the swing of it as well. And you know, I don't think DC had any clue that Marvel were going to bring back the Fantastic Four when they, you know, had the idea of doing the Terrifics. And it'll be interesting to see. I mean, they can't really compete, really, because one's a team that's been around for forever, and the other's like a team that was only just created like recently to take the mick. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that can last that much longer. It'll be interesting to see. I think I'll be getting both of them to see how they compare over time. But yeah, I'd definitely give Fantastic Four the thumbs up. Spider-Man Annual. It was weird because ever since Miles has been folded into 616, I've always wondered how much of his origin is the same, how much is different. Was Aaron Prowler in 616? Did he take on that moniker at some point? Who knows? They don't really go into detail about that, but the story itself that happens in this comic was actually pretty good. Like, it deals with Miles using fear and overcoming fear that he has inside himself to kind of do more of the superhero thing, which that's hero. It's like a simple hero's journey. I've said it many times on this channel. It's like he even like internal monologues, and he's like saying how he's afraid, but how he turns that fear like into a punch, and he'll just keep on like using the fear to kind of like power himself in order to do these things, and he's scared while he's doing them. That's very human, you know what I mean? There's been times in our lives where we've been scared of things, but we have to kind of use that adrenaline from the fear in order to do X. So it's like fight or flight response, for example. It's kind of like that. And I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty well done. Wasn't a massive fan of the art in it though, or anything like that. And there's a bonus story in the back, which was a bit, it was a bit weird, but you know, it was all right. But yeah, overall, it wasn't anything too much. There was a good recurring kind of set of lines that kind of Aaron was saying to Miles. It was kind of to do with privilege, but I don't think they explicitly kind of made it about kind of any kind of racial privilege. It was more just kind of people who have money behind them. I think it was more of a class thing than a race thing, or that's how it appeared to me when I read it anyway. But yeah, it was pretty decent. I was quite surprised by it. I'm I want kind of Miles' series to kind of come back, and I want them to give him his own Rose Gallery. It's been years now, and he doesn't have his own Rose Gallery. Everyone in his Rose Gallery is from Peter's Rose Gallery, and it's just like, come on now. Daredevil. I actually forgot what happened in this until I flicked through it before doing this video. And you know what, it's actually pretty cool. It's like this whole thing with Hammerhead and the robbing of this bank and all that. And there's something that happens at the end which made me go, what? And it involves Mike Murdoch, Matt's twin brother. So yeah, it was very peculiar. But yeah, I like this. I think there's a different artist on this than previously. And he's putting together this team. Daredevil's putting together this team to, I think it's to take out, well, is it to take out Wilson Fisk? I can't remember. I need to read it again properly. But it's something like that. And it seemed all right. It seemed pretty cool. But yeah, man, I'm still sticking with Daredevil. I still quite enjoy it. It's not got 100% the grittiness I'd like, but I think it's a pretty well done comic. And is Charles Soule still on it? Yes, he is. And he's been on it for a while now as well, which I like. I like it when there's a creative team, or at least the writer is on the book for a long time. Like, I like it also when the creative team is on the book for a long time as well. But sometimes you can't have it both ways, but I'd rather the writer be there, because I hate it when like things are put into place for a story and then a new writer comes on and kind of ignores those things. It's just kind of like, oh, come on now. Like, what the hell? Death or Glory. I always call it Death and Glory. It's Death or Glory. Yeah, there's a wicked car chase in it. It was really, really well drawn. Completely like unrealistic. There was a specific part of it where I'm like, that would be impossible. Someone would die if they were doing that. But other than that, I actually quite enjoyed it. It's kind of like, it's a bit of a thrill ride. Like, I imagine watching Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof and then reading this comic. I feel like they have the same kind of old school kind of vibe about it, like a slight grindhousey vibe. So like, but I like it. I like what's going on so far. It is a bit, it's kind of grounded, but then at the same time, it's a little bit like, okay, this is kind of crazy, but it's entertaining and I like it, and I think it's pretty dope. So I am sticking with it. I like it. I've said that about twice now. So moving on to the next comic. Sideways issue 6, which I forgot when it came out. I didn't notice it come out. I just saw it on I saw 7 on the shelf, and then I was like, 7, I'm sure, what? And then I looked at the other shelf from a few weeks ago, and then I saw 6. I was like, oh shit, I missed it. Unfortunately, I've not read it yet, so I'll be reading those back to back. Sideways, in general, my opinion on it has been, it's got loads of potential, but I don't think that potential has been realized yet. I think there's so much that you can do with that character, because like, it's kind of like Spider-Man in a way, I guess. But I wish, like that issue where it was pretty much trolls in real life issue, I was just like, why is it this character can like tear through portals and that in the fabric of space, do wicked stuff with that. And I think it was getting good, like that weird kind of creature, that big head dude who came up to him and told him like how he needs to protect, like, you know, the dimension and all that kind of business. That more of that kind of weirdness I'd love from this comic book, but I'll see if these 2 issues provide any of that. And then finally, I got Immortal Men. I feel like it's gathering speed. I think it could have done it a whole lot quicker, but you know, you can't have it every way. I'm not sure as to how long I'll be sticking with the New Age of Heroes, or the New Age of Superheroes, or whatever it's called. Yeah, the New Age of Heroes. Just because it's kind of like, they're trying to establish things as if they've been long running. That's what I get a feeling of when they haven't. So, especially with like the Immortal Men, there's this whole history to them, which they explain in the last issue, which, if the comic had been around for a while, it wouldn't seem like they're just rushing. It's just like, oh, by the way, this, that, blah, blah, blah. Hundreds of years ago, this, thousands of years ago, that, and this is what's been happening, is this, and it's like, some of that information should have been in the first issue. You know what I mean? To get people to stick with it. If they explain that in a few paragraphs at the beginning of the first issue, it would have probably made me like it a lot more. But yeah, that's what I've got to say about the Immortal Men. So yeah, I got Fantastic Four, Spider-Man Annual, Daredevil, Death or Glory, 2 issues of Sideways, and the Immortal Men. Let me know as to what comic books you got this week, as to whether you liked or disliked what you got or what I got. Like, comment, subscribe, or downvote, I guess, if you want as well. Stick around and watch another video if you want. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.